Hey, what up, everyone? Thanks for being here today on Decisive Learnings. We're supposed to start about 7 minutes ago. We're a little bit late. Hope you guys are fine with that. But it's because I took some effort, right, to invite one of the founder of an awesome tool that's actually going on lifetime deal right now, and this tool has been mentioned multiple times that it's complex to use, and I'm sure a lot of you want to actually see how it can benefit you, right? Understand how to use it, and so that it can benefit you, right? So everyone, my name is Henrico, and I'm an entrepreneur, digital marketer, and most importantly a software enthusiast. And today I am so glad to have Harish Kumar here. He's the founder of CrawlQ, right? So CrawlQ, they have been going around for some time. There's been some nice talks about them. People are saying, some people are saying, oh, this is CrawlQ is awesome, and then there'll be some that says, oh, this is too difficult for me to know how to use this. So I'm here. So CrawlQ is actually an advanced target audience based AI content writer. Okay, and I'm so excited to have him here to share about his background. Hey Harish, how is it going? Right.
Hey, Henry, great. Nice
Yeah.
to nice to meet you, and nice to be in this session. It's my pleasure to be here, and
Awesome.
I'm looking forward for this talk.
Yes, personally I'm looking forward to this as well, because I would love to actually check it out and see how it can benefit my own business as well. So, Harish, could you give us a little bit introduction about yourself and how did CrawlQ came about, and what kind of problems are you trying to solve with CrawlQ?
Yes, sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Harish. I'm founder here at CrawlQ.ai. I have been in the industry for more than 20 years, and I have been a product owner basically. My background is from the product design engineer. Throughout these years, I have seen quite a lot, and I found this disconnect between this feedback loop between product development, sales, and marketing. Most of the time, these three departments in any bigger company or in a smaller startup, they work in isolation. So the development teams, right, the product teams, they don't get this essential feedback that who are their target audience, and this their entire product or you can see service is actually based on this assumption. Everyone is thinking that this product team is thinking behind the scene that there is a marketing team, there is a sales team, and they know whom to target perfectly, and that's how they design the product. So this kind of mismatch or the frustration that was there in the industry, that was really quite there, and it was frustrating me as well while working on many roles in my career, from banks to big four or consulting. I had sort of this felt this pain, and that's why I thought I'll try to create something, a product, a unique product, which can bridge the gap between sales, marketing, and product development. When I started to sort of investigate the root cause of this problem, that why there is this disconnect, the problem that I found is most of the time the content creation process or the way to reach your target audience was more SEO focused. So this was focused on keywords, search volume, and the entire industry is brain wired when you talk to every marketer there, and when you start your business, even if you're a product design engineer, the first advice that will come to you: put up a website, design a blog. When, as being a technical developer or product design engineer, if someone asks me to do that, I will get first initial advice from my team that hey, you need to first look into the keywords, what kind of volumes, what kind of topic we are targeting, and so that kind of idea always challenged me. Like I wanted to know actual person, right, whom we are targeting and selling this product and service, and why should I be looking into this all keyword based topic based tool. And it synced to me, and I also experienced that last uh, 8 years. I learned a lot of SEO skills in this process. I tried every tool out there from, I don't want to name them, but I tried everything. The thing that I learned from SEO is like I could quickly rank my blogs and content by following that sort of advice. But the moment the traffic started coming on those blogs, right, still the conversion was not happening because what we did, we did some tweaks in terms of our optimization for this SEO for this blog. So I have worked on this. If you go to http://quantumixsolution.com, you will find that many of our blogs like top 10 AI tools and technique in SEO or AI in SEO, they are ranking on top page of Google. But still there's nothing is happening there. It's not like they are coming and then they are buying something from us. This was situation last 2 year back, right? So this situation also I found with our clients with whom I was working, that with SEO strategy we can uh, rank our content, but then we are still carrying a leaky bucket. Why? Because this traffic comes when they come to our homepage, about us page, everywhere they go, message do not resonate with our target audience. The message is lost, and also all this hard work that we did to rank our content on top page of Google, my product team is not getting any benefit out of that because I'm not getting a direct feedback how to enhance the value of my product, how to understand the pain point, desires, roadblocks, mistake, what keep my target audience awake at night. This is the essential feedback that I wanted to get from these people who are coming on from my website. They should leave feedback, they should interact with the content. And this big gap is hampering the product development, is hampering the process of making products and services which really appeal to the target audience. So see that this was my pain point, and I wanted to just ask, does it make sense, or is any question there?
Yes, I definitely agree with that, right? Because I think there isn't many copywriters in the lifetime deal communities around here. Because what I see is that a lot of people are just the focus on the SEO aspect,
Hmm.
right? And that's not wrong as well. Like personally for me, I think that it's a huge trouble, right? Trying to identify your target audience. It's not like couple of minutes kind of process. We are talking about like if we are to deep dive and actually look at our the target audience, where they are, what kind of where can we find them, what kind of interest that they have and things like that. It's not an easy process. I mean, even for me, if I were to work on that, sometimes it takes like an hour or two at least, just to get a comprehensive overview of my target audience. And then the next thing is to be able to write copy that is suitable for them, right? You got different target audience, different demographics, and you got to write different copywritings, different copies, right, that appeal to this different group of people as well. I think that's not easy. And personally myself as well, I have invested in quite a few copywriting tools. And what I can see is that at the moment, right, there doesn't seem to be a solution for copywriting. There are some that are halfway there, but it's just nowhere close when it comes to copywriting, because it requires it requires the AI to understand like human emotions, and to be able to connect with your audience, right? So I think even for myself, I hire my own copywriter, and I teach her, and I buy courses for her, just for her to train her to be able to write a long form copy, a long form sales letter that can convert my leads into sales itself, right?
Right.
So definitely I do agree, with what you just mentioned, right, Harish? So
Right.
let's is there anything else you would like to share with us before we get into the demo itself so that you can teach us how to make use of
Yeah.
your tool?
Right. No, definitely, I'll try to address those things that you just mentioned because I fully agree that it's not easy to identify who is your target audience, and that's where we try to fill this gap. So, in that sense, CrawlQ is not just an content writing or copywriting tool, but it's also a framework. It's based on a solid copywriting framework. Now, I'll try to share my screen and I'll try to navigate from that framework to the tool. Does that make sense? Shall I do that?
Yeah, just want to bring up some comments right here. So, one of the one of our community members actually wanted me, he insisted quite a lot just to have you to be here to share with us. It's Juster Pastillo, right? So he's really keen about getting your tool and making use of it. And we have Phil Trainer here, right? So Phil, also one of our active community members, he says IDA is key in my opinion. And how can you maximize this framework now your target audience inside out? Sorry, I guess he means now you know your target audience inside out. This is where I hope CrawlQ can shine. Using today's
Right.
tool, we'll find out ASAP, right? So basically, I guess he's at a point where he knows his target audience, but he wants to know how he can actually make use of IDA to, uh, better convert his customers, right? So
Okay.
I
I'll
guess
try
that.
to
Yep.
I'll try to take along these questions, and I'm not sure how much time you have, but let's try to go deeper. And when we go too deep, then you can stop me.
Sure,
Uh,
no problem.
but I want to really mention first that Jester has been a great early adopter and he has been interacting with our community. So I wanted to say hi to Jester. And it's great that you asked Henry to be, for me to be here. So I really feel that this pleasure and I really like this approach of connecting communities. So thanks, Jester, again. And I'm sure more people know and interact, and they're also part of the CrawlQ communities. Everyone, they're early adopters. My big respect and my big hi to you guys. And that's how we started, and we have come to this stage. It's all sort of contribution and feeling of working together with the community. So let me share my screen.
Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead. Let me.
let me
I'll bring it up for you. Oops. Okay.
yeah, can you?
So, all right. So Harish, I'll hand it over to you, and we'll, love to see how CrawlQ works. Right.
So there are a couple of resources on our website. These are good starting point when you are sort of starting. But I wanted to pick one resource and try to go deeper into it, and then I will jump whenever needed to the actual tool as well. But this is really fundamental before we really jump into it, and I'm trying to also encapsulate this whole thing into training videos, so you can really understand uh, that how solid is the foundation that we built on CrawlQ. So hopefully you can see my screen, right? Just
Yes, we can go ahead,
okay,
please.
great. So the CrawlQ is basically based on a solid foundation. This foundation is powerful because, in the sense that all the people who are product design engineers, CMOs, sales and marketing technology leader, they can become really highly paid growth consultant if we follow the framework. The framework is compelling in the sense that it is drawn from the topmost authoritative resources. If any marketer you ask and copywriter, then Eugene Schwartz's Breakthrough Advertising is the gold standard, where it was written classic book and it was applied to ads, so paid advertisement. I have sort of borrowed this approach and I have gone through it and sort of dissected this and implemented this for the general content copywriting. So this was for more advertising, but we have sort of I have gone through it and taken this approach and implemented straightforward into CrawlQ. So this is not like a simple AIDA formula. It's not like simple problem agitation solution formula, but it's based on step-by-step foundation, like how you identify the mass desire that exists there for your product and services, how you exploit this desire, and how you incorporate this desire into a product copy. So that's a big theme which comes from Eugene Schwartz. Dan Kennedy, the ultimate sales letter, is very often quoted framework in the copywriting world. Then David Ogilvy on advertisement. It's also classic gold standard book. Then also refer to some of most standard references that came across to me from Jim Edwards, Russell Brunson's. They were also sort of more practical funnel builders, copywriters. So a lot of ideas that are there are compelling in the sense that are authoritative. And it's not that I invented this, I assembled this together and structured it in a way in the software that when it combined with the AI, it become powerful foundation. So it's universal in the sense that you can use it for micro content, macro content, landing pages, outbound emails, blog videos. It's not that if you are applying AIDA formula, then it's only applicable to one specific set of sales letter. No, when we apply and do a consistent research, then this framework become universals. You're basically generating insights, stories, and answers, and they are all sort of borrowed from a universal framework. Um, who is this for? Again, this is really important. I know the community is big. There are different inspirations. People who come from product design engineer, product managers, CTOs, SaaS CMOs, sales and marketing technology leaders. They are the right audience for this software. Having said that, use cases are multiple, but we really wanted to make sure that the people who can immediately start benefiting and then see a great value are people coming from this background, because they are never introduced to uh, marketing, copywriting in the way it comes here, right? They are any type of people who come from product design, engineering background, tech background. They are directly exposed to SEO without going into the fundamentals, and this is where this gap is there, and this software is going to bridge that gap. And of course it is having a wider use case, because overall the trend will change in the industry. You are going to create content more which is focused towards your buyer persona, towards your target audience, and you need to really go deeper into that. So I'll come back on onto that more detail. So these things are I'm going to skip, but the main idea here with any copywriting formula is you are going to exploit the mass desire about your product or service that exists there. You cannot create a desire, you can only exploit that desire, right? There is a desire for the products and services, and as a copywriter your job is to exploit that desire in the form of roadblocks, pain points, mistakes, fears, suspicions of your target audience, and structure this information in a way which you can then meaningfully use in your content creation. So the main principle here is how to identify that mass desire that exists for your product and services. Now, um, these are much more detailed. I wanted to touch in on this aspect first. So when you think about your target audience, right, um, this exercise will become easy if you think their stage of awareness. So when you have an innovative product, your product is quite new in the market, your idea is brand new, then your first to market, you have the new claim in the market. Nobody has heard about this claim. So this is your first stage of sophistication of your market, of your target audience. This is your niche. This market is your niche, right? They are your target audience. They have never heard about this claim. So you are first to make this claim. Your idea is innovative. Then the marketing and SEO machinery need not to worry about that much, because your idea itself is innovative, new innovation. It's a brand new innovation. Nobody has heard about this. Your target market has not heard about it. When you're second, so somebody has already presented a claim, then you're going to elaborate on that claim. So that means the claim itself is already there. It's not new to the market, to your target audience. you're going to elaborate on that claim. Now, when you're third to the market, that means there are already claims existing like that about your product and services, and it's not anymore an innovation, but it's more like there are competitors out there. And mostly 90% of the products are in the group of third and fourth, where your target audience, your market has already heard about such claims, right? So then you're third to the market, and then you emphasize on the mechanism, on how it works, how it is, the entire product. If you take a car, right, there's already many cars are there, then you're going to focus on how this car specifically works. But if you're coming with completely new car, maybe first time when Tesla came, they don't need to explain how the car works, but what is this new claim, right? And there I can take a lot of examples, but I'm sure you understand this, that when you are new to the market, very innovative idea, you don't have much competition, then its situation is different. So the main takeaway from here is you need to really understand before you do sort of market research or buyer persona. You need to understand in which stage of awareness of your target audience. Is it new? You need to relate this with your product and services. You need to do a competitive analysis, very rough idea that, hey, are we new to the market? Then we follow this approach. Are we second to the market? Are there already competition in the market? And most of the time, most of the software services product falls into the fourth category, because there are already many such claims which exist in the market. And then at that time, you're not saying how it works, but you are saying how your product or service is better, faster, and cheaper than the other alternatives in the market. So that's your whole marketing mechanism, and the way how you're going to approach your target audience change, because you're all the time not focusing on how to, but you're elaborating that mechanism, like how your product or services are better, faster, and cheaper. And what you come to what you're presenting to your target audience is like technological expression of this product, that my product works better, faster, cheaper than other alternatives out there. So this is how most of the products and services lie. And now there is a fifth stage as per Eugene Schwartz, and this stage is completely dead end, where nobody wanted to hear your claim, nobody believed that you have a better product or service. They have heard similar claims in the past. The problem here is you're dealing with a highly saturated market, and there are so many products and services out there which deal with this problem. Then the strategy change here. You're not focusing on the claim, you're not elaborating the claim, you're not focusing on how it works. Also, you're not saying how it is better, faster, cheaper. Then you're in this stage, you're identifying yourself with the prospect. In to extent, you're identifying to an extent that these people are just outside of your gate, ringing your house, doorbell, and they wanted to talk to you. So most of these coaching businesses, everything that you see around, they have to be authority in their field, so that people can come, and people are queuing up to talk to you. So I'm sure this kind of explanation gives you a grounding that when you approach the market, you need to really aware of your competition, where you stand in terms of awareness, their awareness about the problem solution statement that you're doing, and the fundamental then expansion of this idea is to speak not to many people, but to speak to one person, and that is your niche, and that's the definition of target audience inside CrawlQ. So we work with one niche. When I say niche, this is the person who you can take on a coffee date. So this person is one single person. This person is Fred. This person, Fred, is having acronym for Fred. If the person has a fear, this person want results, right? This person has expectation, this person has desire. So whenever I am talking about a target audience research, buyer persona research inside CrawlQ, I am talking as a starting point about a person who I can go or I can take along a coffee date. And this person I know, and I am trying to make my copy or buyer persona research around this person, trying to understand him as much as I can. And these are my hunch feelings. So these are my starting points. And then AI is going to help me to generalize this starting point in a way that I can prove that there are more people, because I'm not going to sell my product or services to one person, but with the help of AI, I am going to generalize this concept in a way that I have statistically significant number of people, right, whom I can sell my product and services, and that's where my market is born. So from niche is one person, this single person who I can take on a coffee date is my friend, right? I wanted to know this person so well, so that's a starting point in the CrawlQ. Then using AI and insights, I'm going to generalize this person so that there is a statistically significant number of thread, and these thread then can help us to get more message which is exactly hyper personalized, resonating, then I'm talking to a significant number of people. And that's the idea of central idea behind CrawlQ. So I took this detour, it was necessary to come until here, but let me give like inside the tool workflow insights. So as I said, when you start, we start with the workflow. This is workflow, maybe can be helpful to explain. So you define your very high level hunch feeling about your niche. You narrow it down to sub niche. Then you say further narrow it down to micro niche. Why you are narrowing down? Because we still have the hunch feeling about this person. We wanted to go to the person first, get as much as specific, and then start from there to start generalizing it. So this is why this is deliberately designed like this. When you log into the tool, it asks you already what is your niche, sub niche, but it's a deliberate attempt. It's a deliberate attempt to focus, to to force you to focus on one single person, to come down to that single person. And I will take an example here right now. So the main idea, the starting point is to come down to that person, and that's where I think the challenge was also there, because as you mentioned, Henry, it is very difficult to start on a buyer persona. There are different approaches. People go on the LinkedIn, they study demographics, company size, experience, all the data they collect, put in the spreadsheet, PowerPoint. Still, it is not possible to like embed this approach into your content creation, right? It's very difficult. And there are other people who tried a different approach, or try to connect with one copywriting formula, but still they are missing that person, that real person who has that specific attributes, characteristics. And then in this process, what we are doing is we are generalizing that person. So we start with niche, sub niche, micro niche, our industry vertical. We go to that person, ideal person. We write this person's name, and then we go into detail. So let me take a real example of this. How does it work in actual practice? I cannot see you guys, so I'm not sure if I'm doing right here. I also see a lot of questions, but I'm not sure if I should put this on the other screen, or should I take the question at this stage. Uh, shall I? Maybe there are some questions. Henry, shall I do those questions first?
Hi, Harish, just go with what you feel, right? If you want to answer some of the questions, if they come along, during the process where you are, showing us the tool, go ahead as well.
Okay. Okay. Let me follow then what I'm doing, and then we'll come back to those questions. So when you create first time workspace, obviously the questions are asked on an onboarding screen. But let me show you the same kind of questions in the process. So this is the market research part, and this is exactly the part in the diagram that I was showing. So in this example, I'm sure many people are familiar with 3D printing. It's a very popular topic, subject, is gaining a lot of industry momentum. So here I took one example. It's a business idea. 3D printing, again, I wanted to make sure that you understand this. When I say business idea, that means 3D printing is a business idea. It's not a niche. When I say niche is that single person whom I can take on a coffee date. He's my friend. And this friend, I want to know as much as possible through this process. So I started with this idea that, hey, this is 3D printing is our business idea. Who is might be right target audience if I am selling something? And this will become clear what is that something. I'm a company who is specialized in 3D printing softwares, and I'm trying to sell my product or service to my target audience. Now let's say who can be right person on this. So someone who is craft and art student who is looking to make a new career to get started with 3D printing. So it's something as kind of hunch feeling that you come for your you come to your mind. You take this as a starting point. Craft and art student who is looking to make a new career to get started with 3D printing. Then you wanted to narrow it down. So you say craft and design student and professionals. So I just wanted to generalize it a little. I'm already started generalizing it. Student, professional, who wanted to scale their creativity. They are trend spotter and they are interested in additive manufacturing trends. Make sense? So you can already see I started the hunch feeling. I started putting some elements which is a little bit generalized. Then I'm narrowing it down. I'm narrowing it down in the micro niche. I'm saying craft and design engineer. Now I'm saying design engineer, okay, who is interested in buy and sell of 3D printing models, design plans, and interested in additive and subtractive manufacturing and rapid prototyping. So I see how I narrowed it down from student to student plus professional to a craft and design engineer. Narrowing it down, also the explanations are more specific. Then I'm going to 3D printing manufacturing. Then finally I define my target audience, like this person whom I wanted to take on a coffee date. So this person, let me enlarge this. Yes, this weird mouse I have. Sorry about this. So this person's name is Chris Pirillo. I know this person from my network, and the way I come across this profile, if you don't know it, also you can use the LinkedIn or Twitter. But this person has to be someone in your network that you know this person, and you know that this person has some remotely connected with the pain point and problem that you're solving, right? Every time when you write a content, you can always associate with single person. This single person might be really your friend, someone your network who is having similar characteristics that you can think and you can go on a coffee date. So in this setup, I know Chris Perillo is a craft and design engineering student. He's in the second year of his master program. He's not first time. He's like second year of in master program. This is second master that he is doing. He's a creator. He's a nerd vlogger. He's a geek. He also dead because he's doing his professional. He's into the second master. It's been done first master. He loves Star Wars. He Lego, Seattle retro, and he has a keen interest in getting started with 3D printing. And his main desire is to become entrepreneur. He wanted to have his own manufacturing unit when he passed out from this studies that he is doing. He is exploring the best profitable 3D printing design and models. So now you may be asking me a question like, how can I come across to such a very specific person whom I can take on a coffee date and go into that much detail? You don't have to sweat at it in the beginning. You just start whatever comes to your mind. Just go on a real coffee date with person. Believe me, just do this exercise. I have done this, and when we talk about, I come across some interest that I found are interesting. This story is not difficult to make if you spend some time with someone on a coffee. Even if you are writing for some one else, like if you're working for agency, still you can find out someone similar in the agency's network or in the business for which you're doing product. You can ask them, you can phone them, hey, do you know someone? And they can tell you, hey, this is LinkedIn profile, check that profile, what things stand out. Try to incorporate some initial hunch feeling. You save this, you press the button generate insights, and these insights are powerful. These insights are based on the copywriting framework that I was earlier, explaining you. This whole copywriting framework is in the form of different examples, definitions, and instructions, smart instructions to AI to come up with a structure. Now I will explain this structure a little bit later here. But see, this is the foundation. How it works is you come with hunch feeling, you save it, you generate insights, and these insights are quite deep. These insights will help you actually further refine your initial inputs. So you're on a very high level, you can go deeper, save it, generate insight, and read this, and there will be always something that will come as a golden nugget, golden sort of tip that you would not have thought about yourself. So this is an exercise that I'm doing together with my AI assistant. The same exercise, if you are working for a big company, you will do the same exercise with the sticky notes in the big boardroom with 10 people, discussing the same thing. The same, we are trying to get into as much as detail as we can. Now, the next step is this company that we are working on. This company is Yegi. Imagine that I am the in the title of product design engineer there, and I'm targeting these people with this age group, location. The beauty of this is that you need to just fill two inputs, and then you do the fill with AI, you do the save, and you generate insights, and you refine this. It's same kind of optimization that you are used to do with the keyword and when writing the blogs, right? There, here you are trying the first optimization layer for your target audience. You're really making sure that whom you are targeting. You're creating these insights. Also, the moment you start creating these insights, you're already getting ROI because you can use these insights to immediately start posting on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can curate this insight, you can save these insights, you can go to a note section, you will find back again all these insights. So any time and effort that you spend with this, even for 15 minutes, is already starting to create a ROI for you because you're not wasting your time here. You're creating really intelligent insights. And I will tell you one example here more. So it goes deeper than it says semantics, main topic of interest. What is the best software for 3D printing? What is another topic? What types of files are used in 3D printing? Another, so you have to feed it with two seed ideas. You fill with AI, you save, you generate insight. Once you generate insight, you refine this, and then you save this. So you save here. This is very important. Once you follow this cycle, at some point of time, so these four categories: niche, demographics, semantics, psychographics. These are your first milestone. So once you achieve this milestone, then things start working more actively for you. You can go to dashboard, like Athena is our internal AI. So you train the Athena. So that means this all information is sort of structured inside this AI. And next time when you start with the next step, then you don't need to come up with first two answers. So I will show you that example. Uh, Before I go there, I wanted to touch upon this. So this is deep framework. This says single big shocking statement, single big emotional payoff of my target audience. For Chris, the Chris is our Fred. The Chris in this example is someone who is our niche single person whom I wanted to go on a coffee date. His single big emotional payoff after working through this company or interacting would be that he will spot a new trend with 3D printing to create $1 million business because that's what he wants. That's what the desire of Chris to set up his own manufacturing plant. Desire to be a successful 3D craft and design entrepreneur. Ideal person, he wanted to become authority in 3D print and design industry. Big problem. The hardest thing for me is to find someone who is able to teach me how to use a 3D printer. This is a big problem with the industry. If you have seen this, it's very difficult to find someone who can really explain you or train you in this industry. Single big problem agitation. 3D printer is an expensive technology. Single big problem agitation solution. 3D printing is becoming more and more popular in manufacturing industry, but it can be very expensive to get into it. Big question people are asking: what is the future of 3D printing? That's what people are asking. Result: successful 3D printing. Roadblock: one of the 3D printing industry's biggest roadblock is that it can be hard to find a company or person who want to take you on an apprentice. Pain: curiosity, negative curiosity, positive curiosity, secret, mistake, features, single big feature that you wanted to have. Benefit: positive outcome, negative outcome, single big time frame to solve this problem. You see, this framework goes quite into detail, and you have all this input. Again, you can save. You can generate, you get more and more detailed information here, you see. So this is really important. To understand this framework is quite deep, and we are just 5% of the market research here. It goes into product emotion hook, how you identify with your target audience, common characteristic, how they describe themselves, what kind of their current state, their desired metrics, future state, what books they read, what tools they use, what blog they use, what forums they use. You can go as much as deep as possible into this, and all this going to combine together and create you very insightful, sort of engaging um, content, because it's all together coming into the content creation once you train this, right? So before I jump over from here, I wanted to show something very quick one. So again, I wanted to relate this with this framework, the principle behind it. It's not single formula or something. So one of the questions that you might struggle all the time is how can you express the personality of the product in your headline, in your blog, on your content? And I will give you example. So one of the most important discovery that you will do with market research is how to identify those personality attributes that you can embed in your copy. And these attributes are most of the time, like if you remember any kind of product or service, you visualize in terms of some attributes. You say, hey, this product has a good quality. The Apple iPhone, everyone want to have, maybe because it's a prestige symbol. Some products you say it's performance wise, this product is better than this. Appearance, resale value, freedom from other tools. So you wanted to buy something to get freedom from other tools, ease of use. So you see, these are the attributes that you need to build as a personality of the product in your copy. And this is an example here where we translated this mechanism into define your product's emotion hook. So product emotion hook, what is love for this product? So for example, here add a feature of your tool or service which people love to have in their day-to-day life. For example, incredibly easy to use. People will hate something which people will hate about your product and service. For example, hate copywriting for your business. Let software do it for you. This is an example. This is not in the context of 3D printing. I'll come on it here. Emotional hook, vanity, pride, longing for, freedom. So these are the product's emotion hook that you wanted to bring as a characteristic of the product into your copy. And I have not done anything here yet. I have not even supplied any to input here. Not a single thing here. What I did, I just press the button, generate insight, and then I come across this. I can do it again if you wanna. If you wanna to have a look again, you can delete it. Generate insight. It's a demo thing, so you see what exactly I'm talking about. Maybe results will slightly change, but the whole idea is that this is structured in a way that it read your information, what you have done before, and then it brings you the new topics, new ideas. So product emotion hook love for successful 3D printing business. That's what you wanted to attach when you're selling something to Chris. You wanted to always have an emotional hook when you're talking to Chris on a coffee date, that I have something for you, Chris, which can make you a successful 3D printing business, which can make you a very successful entrepreneur in 3D printing. In order to get customer to this product, the emotional hook is in order to get that successful business within the 3D manufacturing, right? So you do not remember, you don't need to supply it all the time seed idea. We have achieved a big milestone here. In this milestone, we are now ready to jump into and get more insights, and then you're going to put your final answers here. You can also start other way around. You can put answers here, then ask AI. But you see, it's a feedback loop now we have generated. And this uh, structure that you see here is not automatically produced. It's based on the instructions that we are providing when I started with this framework. This framework is not based on single formula, it's based on multiple layers of the formula. And that goes together in bringing you a structured information like this, which are completely not random thoughts. They are very structured thought that you can embed into your product copy, in your marketing copy. So this is the sort of power of market research, and I don't want to spend a lot of time in reading it, but it is exactly what is looking for, how to sort of how to express the personality of the product into the content, how to find those things which are based on the attributes like quality, prestige, and most of the time one of the trait will always be dominant. So you need to find a dominant trait that you can talk about your product and service, and that is really dominant. And that's the exercise that you do here. So everything here is also human assisted. Is your creativity is also involved. You will become a domain expert. You will learn new insights about your product and services, and you're not letting AI do everything by its own. It's it's an approach where we are using AI, but we are on the steering wheel. We are not losing control at any point of time. We are on the steering wheel. And also, all this talk about long form, short form, we have to put aside it, because right now we are focusing on a deep dive target audience research, which is based on a very foundational framework. It's not just like stitching one formula to other. It's a foundational framework. So I hope this explanation gives you quite deeper understanding of the market research tool inside CrawlQ. And I will take a quick example of blog. Then this is how it is tied together. So if I go to content automation, I have created a blog. You need to come up with some initial idea, like 3D printing, because in the end, your seed idea is always you have a workspace. That means that workspace attached to one buyer persona. You do all the research there, and then you connect the seed idea with any content creation. So AI understand this is my seed idea, and of course, it cannot mix with different workspaces. It is attached to is trained. Athena is working only for a specific workspace, but still it need a starting connection so that you get this connection. Now here are their different tools. So looks like this blog was a bit matured already. I was working on this, but there are different tools here. So it gives you a blog outline or introduction outline, and this outline I was expanding into a proper blog. And here you see all the data has been pulled from the website on these different websites which are ranking top on the 3D printing. So what we are doing basically here is we are combining our own knowledge of target audience and whom we are talking, this Chris person, right? We know this Chris person. We have done some research about it. Now we are combining this the data which we go get from the competitors, and now we are understanding what other elements we can build in our copy. So basically, the goal of bringing this competitor data here is not to copy them or to get them into our content creation. The idea is to take this data and do our more research about it. So for example, if my blog is on top of the funnel, then I will go through a different topic. If I'm really trying to sell something as being a sales letter, then I will have a different approach. There are different templates for sales letter. But what we are doing here right now is converting this context, this paragraph from our competitor into a question, into multiple questions perhaps. And when we turn into question, then we get also opportunity to answer it by AI. And that answer is not really coming from this context, but the context that we have fed into in our market research. So you can see now we have questions based on this paragraph. You can create as many as questions, but you have to be careful that you are always touching a relevant paragraph in which you are doing. So it's always a research. Research is always there. It's nothing fancy AI going at this moment. What is AI really behind working is these questions that you are creating and the answers of this question. They are really in the context of our market research. That's where the power of market research, Athena, internal AI coming together. So when I press this button to generate answers, it will generate answers which is very specific and not borrowed from this context. And it also take into account the different things that we have researched, like pain point, roadblock, benefit. It will exactly pick up that context and bring it as an answer. Now, this answer is not actually related to this paragraph, but from our market research. So this is one way, but there are multiple tools inside here. You can generate headline and intros. These headline and intros, you can start at a seed paragraph here. And once you have the seed paragraph, you can further expand on it using this function, write me Athena. What write me Athena do is like it again have the same approach. It try to understand the context from here and then fetch the relevant context from your market research and feed onto this. Again, this is avoiding typical trap into AI long form content, because what is happening there when you generate a long form content just replicating the AI model like GPT-3, because GPT-3 is trained as a model, and that's in the technical language they call it Markov chain. If you have heard this topic recently, so it's like your current output that you see on the screen is dependent on the previous output, and this information to create this current output, next output, again next output, is built inside the parameters of that model. So this model is trained. It has billions of parameters, and that parameters are such that they are connected. But here we break that parameter, because even if we use the language model, we are passing the context, and this context is every time fresh. But we are connecting the context from our market research. So we are not using the state one, state two interrelationship between the parameters of that model, right? We are using our own mechanism, our own AI to fetch the context and create that into this. So it sort of break down from the normal pitfall of an AI model, and it's super specific to what we wanted to achieve. So here you can just select this line, say write me Athena, it will produce the next line. If you are wanted to create some specific bullet points or only introduction, then also use this approach. I don't know, I don't want to mess this my current blog, so otherwise I would love to do that. But you can generate headline intros. You can see here all the topics that these are all the headlines and the the relevant content that comes from this. You can expand this. You see a paragraph, you can turn that paragraph into questions to answers. Here you see all the topics that you should be covering, all your competitors are covering. Some questions also faced, for example, from Quora. Here, all the relevant questions that came from Quora, you can also answer them in the similar way. If this product has some reviews, I've also fetched reviews from Product Hunt and other places. And here again, you can see all your market research back. So instead of optimizing for keywords, you optimize for single big pain point. You optimize for single big question that your target audience is asking. You optimize for the result that your person, Chris, wanted to achieve, right? So we are not talking about here keyword, but we are talking about optimization of our market research that we did. And this is a completely different approach than all the stories that you have seen so far, because it will never allow you to use AI blindly, right? And that's the beauty of this approach. So I think there I can do a lot of longer demo, also touch upon sales, copywriting, but I think the fundamental part of the market research, how it is connected here, I have already covered. So I'll go back to this live stream and see what kind of questions are coming up and how can I answer them. Is that okay, Henry?
Hi, Harish. Yes, that's okay. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so do you want to pull for me questions, or should I just read questions? Or how shall we do?
Uh, sh- sure. We go ahead. We have one right here. From Jose Car, right? All right. So he says, for me, the ideal use would be to automatically generate blog posts, as anybody knows it's a huge time-consuming process, and it would be fantastic if CrawlQ can completely automate the part of topic research plus writing thanks to CrawlQ AI. If I could, it's a little bit long, right? If I could choose something, it would be to outsource that part to your software. Yep.
Yes. So here again, there is a trade-off, right? If you wanted to reach out to your right personas, right target audience, you have to invest time. You cannot just delegate this exercise to AI push button blog. That is guaranteed to fail, that approach. And Google is already after it, and after some time uh, we are diluting the value of the content on the internet. So that is not the idea of CrawlQ. CrawlQ's idea is to make your market research easier, deeper. I know that it has some setup pain points, you need to set it up, but once you set this automation factory, you are setting up a laboratory environment. You are setting up an environment where you can test different buyer personas, because once you have one buyer persona, you can change some argument. You see second buyer persona, third buyer persona. It's so much easier when you are working with a complex product or service, that you wanted to find out the right message. You wanted to get feedback from the market. So this is not like one time auto blog generation affiliate marketing kind of tool, and that is not designed for this purpose. The value of this tool is for founders, marketers, product design engineers, for people who wanted to have a deep connection with their target audience. Now, because I have defined my target audience, but this equally works well when you are a social activist and you are dealing with a social economic problem of a particular city, town, village in your country. You can also identify a specific person, a farmer who is having problems and pain points, and you can highlight the farmer's right into this. I did a project here and it's available in the demo project. It was about cotton farmers who are suffering because of the higher interest rate and money lenders. So I wanted to focus on one specific buyer persona because that's my approach. But this approach will work well in all cases when you're really focusing on one person and one specific problem pain point. And if you wanted to target everything, like wanted to create Wikipedia content, then yeah, of course, you will have this more push button approach. But that's not going to, it's outside the scope of this objective of this tool or business model when you wanted to follow this. Um, so yeah, I hope I answered and made it very clear that this is not the tool where you push the button and things are done for you. It is the tool where you really go deeper. And the exact problem that you mentioned when we were talking, that is very difficult to have a structure or buyer persona whom to understand. That's why people take maybe shortcut to go to the keywords and try to understand from that point of view. But here, the approach is completely different. We have bottom up approach. We start with one person and you generalize it, and then market is born, and then you're talking to this market. And the keyword approach is like top. When you're writing content on weight loss, dog training, food nutrition, yeah, okay, that content I understand, okay. But when we are talking about 3D printing, robotics, when you are talking about user experience in a particular e-commerce platform, we have to go deep into that. We have to understand the pain point problem. That's where the tool fit into there for product design engineers, for CMOs, business leaders, even for content writers, marketers, in that sense working. And I generalize already it can work for a social activist also who is advocating the farmers' rights. It will work. But the approach is that you wanted to go deep to that target audience. Next question I'm reading on the screen, for example, for me, the ideal boost would be, you wanted to put it, or I also can see the question.
Yep. So, Huzika asked another question here. What I like about this tool is that it is one of the few tools, almost non-existent, that are based on marketing strategy and not only limited to a feature, opposite to the rest of the AI tools on the market.
Okay, just my reaction to this as I started in the beginning. We have a compelling framework which is borrowed from authoritative resources. When I say Eugene Schwartz, I think the text was more written from advertising, but as I go through it and try to embed as much as information as I could, and there are a lot of other references. So it is compelling, authoritative. It is powerful because you can use it multiple ways by testing your buyer persona. It's also universal because you can just blog post, but you can also develop a micro content. All these insights you can take them as an LinkedIn post or Facebook post, and because in the end, marketing is and communication of insights, education to your target audience, right? And that way it is powerful because you get a lot of snippets, text snippets throughout market research, throughout the content creation. It's not necessary you wanted to publish a big blog. Because let me tell you, sometime the 20 words of a powerful headline can bring a lot of bottom line revenue than 4,000 word of a ebook. And that's where exactly what we are trying to do in the backend is like to process much things, but like to give you headline of like say 20 words, maybe we are processing 400 or maybe 500 words in the background. So our processing is very high and we are discarding all the ideas, presenting you the top thing that is relevant as per the framework, copywriting framework. So that way I would say don't focus on volume, focus on the quality and the says limited words and more powerful message. Shall we take next question?
Yep. Have you covered this one? IDA is the key, in my opinion, and how can you maximize this framework? Know your target audience inside out. This is where I hope CrawlQ will shine. So using today, we'll find out as soon as possible.
Right. So AIDA is another copywriting formula, and there are several copywriting formulas that you can think of, talk of. You can talk, and then these formulas are, if you blindly use them, right, then they're not going to work because then you say, okay, this is my sales letter. I'm going to use this formula, but you have to power this formula with the right arguments, and those right arguments will come through your market research. So then automatically Athena will take care of where to put what based on the context, and you're not tied to a particular formula because it is already bringing those arguments which are structured in a wider copywriting framework. It not only cover like attention, desire, but it collects all the information, and whenever it is needed in that content, it is based on the context. So I understand some of the sales writer they are fixed on a particular formula. It is state with problem, agitate, and present your solution. And there are 20 different types of formulas, but that formula is part of the framework itself. And if you don't power that formula with the right insights, then those formula themselves are nothing, right? So CrawlQ powers first, collect the information to power those formulas, and then you can design your own formula also. Because see in the blog, it is an open structure. You can start a problem statement here. You can cover that problem statement. You can grab an attention statement. You can write on the attention statement. So you can design your own formula in the way based on your content goal, and it also structure information already in that format for you.
Okay. So thanks so much for sharing with us. Harish, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about?
I would say don't sweat at it and really figure it out whether this is the right tool for you because it's not designed for everyone. And before you jump on it and you have frustration, I must say that you should really evaluate that hey, my business, what is my business? Do I need to be super specific in my business? Why I'm not able to convert my target audience? What is going on currently? Is it something else? If you find out that problem is that your message is off, you don't know whom you're targeting, then I think it's the right tool to try and jump and see whether it makes sense. And whatever you do here is not failure, it's not a mistake. Everything you do here is a learning, is a feedback loop that you're learning, right? So not overexcited. I would not get overexcited also. Being as a user, once I come here, set up my things, start learning from it, then nothing is failure. Everything is learning and it evolves. And you cannot also complete your market research in one day here because it's quite wide. It covers testimonials, case study. So it's a work in progress, and you need to only start with first few points and then go further with it. So my advice is don't sweat on it. Really evaluate whether this tool is for you. If it is yes, then try it out. See the learning feedback which come from it. Can you implement it? and it's not a magic one day tool. So let's be very clear about it.
Okay, awesome, right? Thanks so much for sharing, Harish. Um, um, we see. Right. So I think I hope everyone has a better idea of CrawlQ. It is something that you got to spend a little bit time to understand your audience, right? If you are selling a very specific item and you already know who your target audience is, then maybe spending that much time trying to find your exact audience, that it might not be worth the effort itself. But if you have a niche product that you need to find the right audience, right? Let's say you are selling something very very broad, like let's say Amazon, right? If you're Amazon.com, then I don't think that you need to be spending your time doing this at all, right? But the thing is, if you are going to be spending if you have a product that is very specific, then I think it is important for you to dive down and actually take a look and see who your target audience is. And I think that's where CrawlQ comes in and really help you to find that audience. Because if you look at what Harish actually went through, right, that's actually exactly what I do in my process looking for my target audience as well, is to look for that perfect customer of mine and identify what kind of characteristic is there. It's not, let's say you're selling 3D printing, right? It's not just like this person is interested in 3D printing. We are not talking about everyone is interested in 3D printing. It's about you know it's about actually looking at this particular perfect customer, right? So that we can actually find them from someone else. If you're selling like a blue ocean kind of product, then you need to find where these people are. And it's not something like a red ocean product, right, where you can just a red sea product where you can actually go uh and look for your competitors and just advertise to your competitors customers. You got to dive deep and look for that target audience. And that's where I think CrawlQ helps you with the process. You still got to put in the work, but CrawlQ helps you with the process. That's about it. Yep. So I think
Great.
that's all. I hope you guys learn a lot from Harish. I think it's a valuable valuable insight from Harish. He definitely has spent a lot of time into all these copywriting and advertising. Some of the stuff that he mentioned, like Eugene Schwartz and all that. Those are the kind of books that I've read as well. Right. So
Was very good. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it gives a very good idea about copywriting, so that you can actually help to convert more of these customers. One thing that I feel where CrawlQ right now in the copywriting world and the content writing world, right, it's a little bit separated right now. Right. I think Harish can see that as well, is that people put up content to drive in traffic,
Yeah.
right? So that's like the sole purpose. I just want to drive in traffic, and then the only thing that I can do is to insert certain call to action, in the article itself. But if I'm talking about a sales copy itself, like a long form sales letter, right? Then people don't even try and put that on Google itself. They would not even, they'll spend so much time writing a powerful copy, right, but they won't even publish it on Google itself. It's always no index. They don't even want to appear on Google at all. They just want to drive traffic in there and convert. So but what I think CrawlQ might be able to achieve is that they can combine both world, right, where you have the content, a good content, and copywriting together, so that you can get people to come in and then uh convert them into customers as well. Yeah,
Right.
try to get the best of both worlds, I'll say. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So if there's no other questions, Harish, if there's nothing else from you as well, I think we can wrap up this show today. Oh, is it?
Great. It was lovely to join. It was pleasure
Awesome.
as well.
Awesome.
And
Right. Thanks so much, Harish, for being here. And I'll see you all in the next episode of Decisive Learnings. Bye bye.
bye. Take care, guys. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.